Hey everybody out there in the YouTube universe, this is Mr. Movie, and in today's video, I'm going to be telling you why Kids is in my collection. Kids came out in 1995. It was directed by Larry Clark, and it was written by Harmony Korine. Now, personal note, I used to hang out a little bit with Harmony down in the park, down in the village, and he's out there. And so is this movie, and more so his other movies. I didn't hang out with him all the time; wasn't my best friend, but I hang out with him enough times to know him a little bit. And like I said, he's kind of out there. But I think this is his best movie, and he's written a lot of crazy movies, and it's for very specific reasons, which I'll get into. It's a very groundbreaking movie. Before this movie, I had never seen a movie like this. Not just the style and the way that it's shot, but also what it's about, the themes it tackles, and the subject matter of it. It's very unique, and I mean, it's almost artsy, but not. And if you see the movie, or you have seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. It has an artsy feel to it, but it's not artsy. It's very gritty, and like I said, the subject matter that it tackles, and the way it goes about it, and how it's not a feel-good movie, and it's kind of something that I don't know if you should show it to your kids, but if you're gonna have kids, especially if you live in a city like New York, you should probably check this movie out, because you could see what kids can get into, and what they're probably up to. Maybe not all kids, but if you're not supervising them, they could do stuff like this. But yeah, and it's such a great movie. I mean, it's really an in-depth look at how kids are. I mean, this was in the 90s, but I mean, I think, to be honest with you, it's only gotten worse, with the internet and what kids are exposed to, between drugs and porn and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not a kid now, but I would imagine that it's worse now even than then. So watching this movie is just a glimpse into what could be happening with your kids running around out there. I hate to laugh, but it's true. It's very ironic that this came out when I was a kid, and I don't have kids, but I look at it like, wow, if I did have kids, I'm glad that I saw this movie, because if I didn't live it, I was around stuff like this, but if I didn't live it, I was, say, from Iowa or something, and I saw this movie, I would be horrified and blown away and be like, yeah, that doesn't happen. No, it happens. So be wary. This is, well, let me get into first who it stars. I mean, the two main people you probably never heard of. Leo Fitzpatrick is the main character. That's Telly. He hasn't been in very much. Justin Pierce, you might know from the Next Friday, the one where they're out in Rancho Cucamonga. He plays the stoner skateboarder kid. He unfortunately killed himself, which is very sad, but he's funny in that movie, and he's really good in this movie. And Chloe, I always mispronounce her name, Sevigny, I think is how you pronounce it. She went on to do some big movies, even got an Oscar nomination. And then Rosario Dawson. It's all of their first movies. And the last two, they've been in a lot of stuff, especially Rosario Dawson. I had a crush on her too when I first saw this. But yeah, it's a cult classic, I would say. But especially for people that grew up in the 90s, and especially in New York, because this was basically my friends, not so much, the skateboarding Washington Square Park kind of thing, although we did go down there sometimes, we're more in the Bronx, but and a little more hood than them, but they epitomized, they listened to hip hop, they smoked weed, they drank, chased girls, and it's the basic New York thing. What's unique about this too is also, I mean, it doesn't have a happy ending. There's nothing redeeming about it, but the underlying idea of it is watch this movie and learn your lessons from this movie. You know what I mean? Especially if you have kids, and just know that these dangers are out there. And if you don't watch your kids closely, they could get into stuff like this. So basically it revolves around this group of kids, and mainly it opens up with the kid Telly, and I mean he's kissing this girl, and I mean I would have to say he's about 16, 17 years old, and this girl's like 14. And it's a little disturbing at first. You're like, now I don't know how old the actors actually are in this movie, but you're like, okay, what's going on here? And you're watching it, and it's like, what is this? And he's like, she doesn't want to do it, but he's talking her into it. And finally, the whole, game, I care about you and all that nonsense. And they actually end up doing it. And he walks out, and he meets up with the friend Casper, who's the other kid. And, they start talking about it as they're walking to the train. And the whole thing is, yes, she was a virgin, and no one will ever be able to take my spot. I was the first one there, and it's such clean pleasure and all. I mean, it's a disturbing conversation that these guys are having. I mean, they're kids, but she's an even younger kid, and they're talking about virginity and sex, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? These are children, not little kids, but still, they're still children. They're in high school, they're children. And it's kind of disturbing to see it. I mean, when you're a kid, it's not disturbing. You're like, you're talking to your boys and whatever, you're hanging out. But if you take a step back and look at it, it's like, whoa, were we like that? Was that really, like, what's going on here? It's very eye-opening to watch it. And, they're talking about that. And what I like about this movie, it's very, like I said, it's very unique and very different. It's the approach and the way that it's shot. It's almost like it's shot with a handheld almost. And it didn't have much of a budget, so maybe it was. But, it follows them through their day. Like, they go to hang out at their friend's house, and they're smoking weed or whatever and drinking. And basically, you show, it's like almost like a split screen. It's not actual split screen, but it's the boys, all them talking. Then you see Rosario Dawson and them. And the guys are saying, oh, girls love this and girls love that. And when you do this to them, and you say that to them. And the girls are saying, ew, I hate when guys do this. You ever have a guy say this to you? Oh my God, ew. So it's so funny because it's like the guys think that this is cool and what works. And the girls are like, no, that's the complete wrong thing. And they bring up Telly, who Chloe's character, she slept with him. It was one time, and she's like, oh my God, it was a mistake, and all this stuff, which will come into play later. And they show them in Washington Square Park smoking weed. This one Casper gets into it with this one dude. They all jump him and they beat him real bad with skateboards. It's really realistic, and it's vicious. It's like you ever seen those nature videos where a million ants are on one animal and there's nothing they can do about it? That's what this was like. But it's harsh. I mean, you hear the skateboard hitting them. They beat this kid. And then later on, when they're walking, they go to meet these other friends. They're like, you think we killed that guy? And throughout the whole day, they're drinking, they're smoking, they're, talking about sex. Like I said, it's very, disturbing to see kids talking about this. I think that's why it's called Kids, because you want to hammer that home. These are kids talking about this stuff and doing these things. They end up going to this other girl's house. They're like, come on, we're gonna go and break into the pool tonight and go swimming. I can't really go, my parents are strict. Come on. And because Telly is trying to get this other girl who's a virgin. He's trying to get her too. And so what their thing is, they're gonna go hang out at the pool or whatever. And you see Chloe's character talking to Rosario Dawson that they were saying how they just went to get an AIDS test, and they were blowing it off like it was nothing. And while they're there, Chloe says she had sex once, and Rosario Dawson says she had sex a bunch of times and did all kinds of sexual stuff. And when they're talking with their friends, they're like, oh, I did this, I did that, casually talking about the sex. And she's like, I only been with one guy. It was only Telly. He's the only guy I've been with. And they're like, oh my God, get out of here. And then the other one is Rosario Dawson. I've been with him. I've been with this one. So freely talking about it. But later on, they go to get their results. And Rosario Dawson, who was really sexually promiscuous, is clean. Chloe, she had sex with one guy. She's got HIV. So you're like, whoa, again, kids with HIV, like, Jesus, what the hell is going on? This is so crazy. So now she's trying to comfort her, but her thing is, I'm gonna go find Telly because he, the only one I had sex with, he gave it to me. And it's not even in a I have to warn him kind of thing. She's pissed. She wants to kill him, like, not literally, but she wants to kill the guy one time. And he probably talked her into it, like he did the other girl, like he's trying to do with this other girl. That's his pattern, taking their virginity. But one time she has sex, and now she has this dreadful disease. So she's looking all over the city for him, and they're going around in the city too, and they go in the pool and all this stuff, and they're hanging out, and he's talking to the girl, and they're all gonna end up at this party tonight. And Chloe goes to this club, and she bumps into Harmony Korine, and he gives her, he's like, you look down, and he doesn't ask her why, whatever. He gives her some pills. She takes the pills. She's tripping and whoa. But she knows she has to, she finds out that Telly's going to be at this party later. So she's going to end up getting there. So she gets in a taxi. The crew that went to the pool, they end up at this big house party. I don't know where this kid's parents are. They're making a mess. Everybody's doing drugs and drinking and all this stuff. People are, having sex and all kind of stuff. So Telly brings that girl, and they go into the room, and he's doing the same thing, trying to, talk her into it. And, she doesn't want to do it at first or whatever. And, everybody's partying, and, eventually, people are passing out and this, that, and the other thing. And Telly's in the room with the girl. Chloe shows up. She's looking for him. She opens the door, and Telly is having sex with this other girl. And she's going to say something, and he just says, shut the door. He doesn't even look who it is. Shut the door. So she shuts the door, and she's all depressed. She's on drugs. She's thinking about all this stuff. So she just sits down and she passes out. The next morning, Casper, who's at the party, so everybody was, he wakes up. He sees that Chloe's passed out. Shakes her a little. She doesn't wake up. Takes her clothes off and starts having sex with her. So now he's going to get it. And like I said, that's how the movie ends, really. The real ending is kind of like, a little end credit scene where you just see Casper sitting on the couch, no clothes on, cigarette in his hand, bottles everywhere, and he just goes, Jesus, what the hell happened? The movie ends. And it's, like I said, it's just, it's brutal, and it's honest, and it's a really harsh movie. While you're watching it, you're like, oh, what the hell is going on? These are kids, these are children. But that's the reality. Kids are doing drugs and drinking and having sex and not thinking about things. And, and this was in the 90s. And like I said, who knows what's going on today? I'm not a kid anymore, but from what I see on TV and the internet and all that, I'm sure that it's worse. So, it's a deep movie, and, it really just has a strong message that while you're watching it, it's uncomfortable. It makes you think. It's disturbing. And while you're watching it, every time, I remember when we used to watch it back in the days, every time we're finished, when we're done, I would just always say, after this movie, watching it, I feel like I'm a drug addict and I have AIDS. You know what I mean? You just feel that way. When you ever watch a movie with bugs in it, and you start scrapping, it's like that. You're watching this movie, you picture yourself in that situation. You're like, wow, I did all those things. And you feel lucky if you're a grown-up, wow, I got out of that and I didn't have any of those problems. But like I said, very eye-opening, very unique, very brave movie to do, and very deep movie, and a real cautionary tale that I think everybody should check out. Now, on the rewatchability scale, I would say I put it around a 75. Not because the movie isn't great. It's fantastic. It's because it's hard to watch. It's a great film, but it's not an easy watch. And, so I say maybe once a year I'll check it out or go back to it and watch it. And if somebody's never seen it before, I'll put them onto it and watch it then. But just to throw it on as something enjoyable, no, because like I said, it's disturbing. So that's why I get such a low score on the rewatchability scale. Not because it's not great, but because it's hard to watch. Thank you so much for watching this, which I hope wasn't hard to watch. In most of my videos, almost all of them, I rock these cool shirts designed by my partner in Futuristic Vintage, Dave. Shout out Dave. You can order the shirts. There's all kinds of cool designs and pop culture stuff, movie stuff, all these different things, different colors, a lot to choose from. And in the description, there's a kind of deal that he's giving you if you come from this video to the site and check it out, and you get a little deal on the purchase. The site you got to go to, it's futuristicvintage.net. That's futuristicvintage.net. Go check it out. You won't be disappointed. Thank you again so much for watching. If you like my content and you want to see, I do top 5 videos. I do movie reviews like this of movies that are in my collection. If you check those out and you want to see more, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell up there. And whenever I drop new videos, which I do all the time, you'll be the first alerted, and you can check it out. Give this video a like, give them all a like, and share them all with your movie nut friends and let them know about the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. That being said, this is Mr. Movie signing off, and I'll see you again next time at the Flicks.